Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. How you get to the party really doesn't matter. It's what you do when you get there that makes everyone remember you. And I'm pretty sure second-year big man Josh Wade wants to leave the good old people of Las Vegas something to remember him by. Now that he's officially got his Olympia invite, Wade and his crew have really cranked up the intensity over the last week or so as they try to close hard down the last 5 to 6 week stretch. For a guy his size, Wade has good shape and good proportions that could make him a pretty dangerous prospect if he gets it all working. But until we see the call-outs start flying, we still won't have any real sense of how he'll stack up against the guys in this year's Olympia. Everyone seems to have that one person in their life who flat out can't function if they don't have at least 1 cup of coffee in their system. But from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like men's physique all-star Ray Edmonds is having any trouble getting amped up for his workouts these days. After taking a good chunk of the season off to get ready for his Olympia prep, one of the most underrated talents in the division is back to firing on all cylinders again. The latest word coming from my people out there near the Steel City is that Edmonds is on pace to blow away the look he brought into last year's contest. I've even had one person tell me they think he could easily be a top 3 finisher this year. With his height and his muscle, Edmonds is definitely some sort of specimen when he's at his best. And if his best happens to show up on stage at the Olympia this year, the competition better get out of the way of this freight train. When I was watching the NFL Network last weekend, I caught a clip from the Cardinals training camp where I heard a few people say that this was probably going to be Larry Fitzgerald's last ride. And then I got to wondering, I wonder how much former 202 Olympia champ David Henry might have left in his tank. By all accounts, the man they call the OG Giant Killer is out there in the ungodly hot desert of Arizona training like a man possessed again, as he gears up to make his annual pilgrimage back to the only other place in the US that might actually be hotter than his home state. Maybe there's something to living out there in the heat like an old iron monk that makes this guy into the ageless wonder that he is. So if he can figure out how to suck up some of that new Nevada energy when he makes the trip up north, who knows what sort of trick he might still have up his sleeve. To quote the great Roman philosopher Seneca, fate guides the willing and drags the reluctant. And I'll leave it to you to figure out which one of those 2 camps that figure icon Heather Dees falls into. Yesterday, the biggest thing to hit Utah since the Great Salt Lake dropped a new clip from one of her latest back days as she starts to head into the final phase of this year's Olympia prep. The word on the street is that Dees and her team feel great about where they are at this point in their prep. And when I hear words like that coming from a former top 5 Olympia finisher, it tells me everything I need to know about how things are working behind the scenes over there. I personally think the top 10 at this year's figure lineup might end up being the best of all time before it's all said and done. But given her track record, you'd have to be crazy to think that Heather Dees won't find some sort of way to get herself in on the action. Now that we're talking about some of the killers in the figure division, have any of you guys been paying attention to what Nadia Wyatt has been doing lately? Well, true to form, Wyatt has been quietly putting together another masterpiece over there alongside the rest of her crew. And based on the way things have been starting to shape up over the last week or so, well, I'd say she's probably already waking up every day in take no prisoner mode. Over the last few years, it's never ceased to amaze me just how dangerous this girl can be when she's 100% dialed in. And I wouldn't put it past her to shake things up at this year and challenge for a spot in the elite top 10. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.